Hi folks, welcome to this ads webinar. My name is Abel. If you are in Southeast Asia, you probably have heard about me. Today I'll be representing the ads team to share with you more about building brand awareness with Amazon ads. So we will kick off this webinar at 2 p.m. sharp. So let's give a few more minutes. Okay, let's start this webinar. Hi everyone, my name is Abel and I'm actually part of the Amazon Global Selling team based in Singapore. For today, I'll be covering Amazon ads about building brand awareness with our product. And for today, we'll be covering building brand awareness with Amazon ads. This is an intermediate level webinar. So if you have not joined us for our beginner level session on building your brand identity with Amazon ads, I will actually highly encourage everyone to do so. You can watch the replay on our sell.amazon.sg website, as we wouldn't be covering the basics for this session. Today, we'll be exploring the customer decision journey and zooming in on the moments where a customer becomes aware of your brand or products. Our aim is to think beyond the performance of individual campaigns and really broaden out to your brand opportunity to build lasting connections with customers. So let's take a moment to look at our agenda for today. First, you'll need to understand what is awareness. Second, building brand awareness, measuring awareness with brand matrix. Fourth, planning your awareness strategy. And lastly, I will answer Q&A. And with that said, while it is important for your brand to start conversations with shoppers at different stages of their decision journey, today we are going to focus on expanding your presence with shoppers in the awareness phase. There are always customers eager to discover new brands and their product offerings. Shoppers are looking for inspiration, whether they are casually browsing in their favorite category, scanning through the latest deals, or actively researching new items to fit a specific needs. Each of these moments in an example of shoppers might discover their next purchase. So I'd like to pause here again, folks. I mean, if you're coming from Southeast Asia, do note that your shoppers that I'm talking about are Americans. They are Americans who may have not, even come to Asia before. And who you're selling to or who you're advertising to are Americans. And I like to mention that, they think differently from us. They shop differently from an Asian. So when you're looking at the shopping journey as part of the marketing funnel, this touch point is called awareness. I think as you can see from the screen, the funnel consists of 3 parts: awareness, consideration, and conversion. And for awareness, this stage is at the very top of the funnel, representing the beginning of customer interest in a product or brand. It is their first step on the path to purchase and could even mark the starting point of their relationship with a brand. While customers are in this discovery phase, each interaction they may have with a business is helping to build their perception and opinions of the brand and could influence their shopping decision. So I like to pause here for a while. As for today, the focus is about brand building and brand awareness. And I will say that, because you are actually promoting to Americans, you need to know that Americans love to find new brands to follow. So do not worry that your brand is unknown to the world. Actually, Amazon Ads is a place where you can actually let the world know about your brand. And remember, brand building is a long-term play. It's not a short-term gain or short-term play where you want to see, conversion quickly. Brand building at the end of the day is a storytelling, is a narrative that you want to tell the world what your brand represents and what it stands for. So why is brand awareness important? So let's say you are expecting a baby and you have all sorts of decisions to make about what products to buy. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I'm going to be a dad soon in the next few days. So I think this is something quite relatable. So imagine I'm an American, and in the discovery phase, as a new dad myself, I'll be talking to parents, reading blogs, and trying to figure out what brands are trustworthy. And then when it comes to time to buy like a stroller, the brands that as a customer that I'm aware of, that have been endorsed by people that I trust, are likely to seem more credible to you or to myself. So I would say that brand awareness is really through word of mouth, getting endorsed by people. It's about having that trust with your customers. As a brand, this is your moment to engage shoppers browsing in your category who may not be familiar with your brand yet. You also have the opportunity to re-engage customers who have already purchased from your brand and may be interested in learning about the latest addition to your catalog. You can help draw their attention with clear, consistent messaging and visuals that illustrate who you are and what you have to offer. With your content appearing in front of a wide audience of potential customers, you can build awareness of your brand and create new opportunities for shoppers to discover your products. So I would like to stop here for a while. As you all may know, you know, uh, if you have any questions at this moment in time, please put them in the question box. I will answer them later on once I complete my presentation. Uh, as for replay of this, webinar, this will be actually shared with you afterwards. So don't worry. What you need to know for today is to really understand the marketing funnel and how to build a brand on Amazon. Okay, let's continue. Now let's look at our different self-service ad solution and how they can help you build brand awareness with shoppers. So our self-serving advertising product can be used individually, but we recommend creating a holistic strategy to engage customer throughout their shopping journey, including the awareness stage. By using our solution together, we have the opportunity to try a number of creative formats and campaign strategy that each reach and inspire audience in unique ways. These options give your ads the chance to show to more customers at more key touch point, like when they are browsing and ready to discover their next purchase. So folks, I would like to pause here for a while. I think when it comes to Amazon advertising, right? One thing to note, just to share with you guys, I'm actually a seller myself, so I understand where you guys are coming from. Uh, it is very important to note that advertising requires an overarching strategy. It is not a tactical, execution phase where you just put on a budget and you hope that there will be conversion. I would say that when it comes, if you are new to ads, ads has always been something of a part of the entire e-commerce journey. From in the beginning you have to deal with listing, you have to deal with logistics, and right now about brand building and ads. I think this piece is the piece where things gets very complicated and gets very technical. But don't worry, like what I've mentioned, while you're going through this webinar, you will learn the various product of ads. Okay, product of ads are tactical ways of doing things. But as I share more, you will learn the strategy behind how you can use all the different products that's available to you. So remember, as I share, think of the strategy that you may have for your brand or for your product. So it is very important to first establish your brand presence on Amazon, and you can help to do that by using stores and posts. These are the foundation of your brand strategy. Okay, so as you can see from the screen, this is how a store will look like. Stores are free, always on destination for your brand on Amazon, where customer can discover everything your business has to offer. Using immersive videos and image, you can showcase your full catalog as shoppers browse for new products to purchase. If your goal is to increase awareness with customers who may not be familiar with your brand yet, or if you have a new product launching, think of your store as an educational destination page. Creating a strong experience at the top of your homepage that brings your brands and products to life is key at this stage. Support your featured products with high quality image and videos to provide shoppers with details at a glance. So as you can see from the screen, here are some important features your store should include if your aim is to build brand awareness. I'm going to use an example from a real advertiser, and it will be called iEnergy, as you can see from the screen. So to demonstrate, create a strong hailer. This can include a concise tagline, a brand logo, and lifestyle image that highlights your brand story and encourage customer to continue to scroll to learn more. Next will be sub pages. When building or updating your store, organize it as you would on a physical store. Okay, so group products together on sub pages at a category and focus on the category that are most important to your business and ensure each page has rich, engaging content. With this layout, even if shoppers arrive with a certain product or category in mind, they can be inspired to browse for additional items and discover all the categories your brand has to offer. And lastly, the image with text tiles. Using this widget to reflect your brand value proposition and drive awareness by educating your customer about your product collection. You may add inspiring image that motivates customer to learn more. So before I move on to the next slide, like what I mentioned, for stores, right? As a brand owner on Amazon, if you do have a US trademark, please work on your store, okay? Because your store tells the story of your brand, what it stands for, and like what I've mentioned, having a header, sub page, and image with tiles, brings everything together as one. Okay, I think for you guys, in each brand, there'll always be a champion SKU or the hero SKU, right? So if you know that is your best seller, you also want to use that plus your evergreen SKUs or your long tail SKU together to bring the entire brand story and narrative upfront by using this feature. Okay. Next will be we look into video or background videos. Okay, so videos on Amazon is something that not many people know. I think if you are a seller, I have not really see people really leveraging on this feature. So as you can see, video styles is to enrich the content on your store by telling your brand story and showcasing your featured products. A video can be a valuable asset to include on your homepage since it may encourage customer to spend more time on the page. Okay, the other one will be product pulse, as you can see from the screen. It helps shoppers to discover your featured products. And I will say that once you add a product, right, it will actually automatically populate with information from its details page, including the price, primary image, and prime status. So I will say that if you are American, right, and you're shopping on Amazon, I think putting a video up there really speak 1,000 words. And like what I mentioned, not many people really know about this feature. So I will highly encourage you to add more videos. Okay, next will be posts. I think previously, if you have joined us in our previous webinar, Elena did mention that post is similar to Instagram. But post, like what I mentioned, it is an image-led brand content served to shoppers as they actively browse in your brand category. Okay. They will click through the post to explore your brand feed, discover product pages directly from your feed, and follow your brand. Okay, like I like to repeat this part. It's about following your brand after interacting with your post. Okay, use posts to help drive awareness by delivering your brand story to relevant shoppers at no cost, as often as you like. But please note that posts are only available to US sellers enrolled in Amazon brand registry. So if you are based in Southeast Asia and you want to use posts or stores, you will need to have a US trademark. And to note also, before you can use posts, you will need to have a store. So that's something for you to note. So here are some tips for using posts. There are no limit to how often you can post. So make sure you're frequently posting high quality content to help increase your reach and drive additional brand awareness. Having a consistent presence can boost the number of opportunities shoppers have to see your content. And create content that's relevant to your category and audience. We will actually showcase your posts in your stores and on product detail pages based on relevance and shopping engagement. You will also want to avoid using images that are text heavy or have a white background to ensure your post meets the quality threshold. Posts flagged as low quality may receive limited impressions. Next, analyze the type of AC that's performed best in your post, whether they are newly released products, best sellers, or deals. I think at this point in time, right, when I say analyze the type of AC, is actually doing A/B testing. You really need to iterate on a weekly basis on the different images they're going to use for the same product. Then you can see how it performs on our platform. Next will be complicated image takes longer to understand. So make it easy, make it easy for people to interact with it. Avoid using crowded images. Instead, use a single image focus on your products. Now, let's to hone your awareness strategy. We recommend trying different tactics with sponsored brands and sponsored display. So now let's take a look of this. I would like to pause here. Like what I mentioned, what I'm going to share with you right now are tactics, not strategy. Uh, One thing to note, like what I mentioned again, is that while I'm sharing with you all these you know ads product that's available to you, these are all tactics. But you need to know what is the overarching strategy for your ads, for your brand. So let's move on. First, sponsored brands. Okay, sponsored brands are customizable cost per click ads that appears in prominent places within shopping results and on product detail pages. Okay, as you can see from the screen, this is how it looks like from a desktop. These ads helps to reach and engage customer as they browse and research on Amazon. You can choose from several rich creative formats that helps inform customer as they are trying to make a purchase decision. Okay. In terms of formatting, right, there are three that's available to you: product collection, store spotlight, and video. You can use each one to help achieve certain goals for your brand, to tell a strong product story, or help customer engage more deeply with specific items. There are specific tactics we will recommend for driving awareness using these different formats that I'm going to talk about next. So here is a tip. Keep your targeting as broad as possible. This will help you build awareness among a wide audience. This includes using keywords that describe your category, include broad match in your campaign, and targeting categories and products that are even loosely related to your products or brand. So I like to pause here again, folks. I think if you are coming from a marketing background, you may already know that awareness is not about conversion. Brand awareness and conversion is two different parts of the marketing funnel. So don't be confused. Like what I have mentioned, awareness is about building it across a very wide audience, even audience that may not even know about your brand or may not even think about the products they are selling. You want to reach that group of people to increase the awareness of your product and also your brand. Okay, so let's continue. So tactic one, okay, this is something for you to try. You can create your campaign with the store spotlight creative format. With store spotlight, you can take advantage of your store and help direct customer there who may be interested in discovering your brand and learning more about your story. This format also helps to increase product awareness by encouraging customers to explore your entire product portfolio. You can feature up to 3 store sub pages in your ads, as you can see from the screen. Use rich virtual visuals and also engaging videos on your sub page. So visitors are most likely to spend time on your page and learn more about your brand and products. Okay, with sponsored brands campaign with store spotlight creative, you have 2 targeting options: keyword targeting and product targeting. Okay, I'd like to repeat again. Keyword targeting and product targeting. You will have to try product targeting to help reach relevant audience browsing within certain categories that may be interested in discovering your product. As I mentioned, keep your targeting broad by choosing a wide range of categories, including the same categories as your featured sub pages, as well as other related and complementary categories. This will offer more opportunities for your ads to reach customers in the awareness phase of their shopping journey. Okay, I think before I carry on, right, let me see uh, the questions, the Q&A box. What kind of questions that? Okay, I think there are questions like do we create a store after we are successful in launching the products? Is this feature only brand register? Okay, so folks, just to share with everyone, like what I mentioned, all these feature that I'm talking about, you will need to have a US trademark, and yes, you will need to be Amazon brand registered. Okay. So, oh yeah, and thanks for the well wishes. Yeah, I'm going to be a dad soon, so this will be probably the last time you hear from me for a while. But anyway, let's move on. It's very important for you guys to know more about ads. Okay, so for tactic 2, right? Okay, you may want to try out sponsored brands video ads format. Okay, so this is a video format, by the way, and this feature, is a short auto playing video directly within shopping results that may inspire, educate, and entertain shoppers. In my next slide, I'll be showing you an example of a video. Okay, so you will actually showcase a specific product with quick demonstration on the features and users with ads that are shown for select keywords or product targets relevant to yours. So when an American click on your video, right, they'll be taken to the product detail page and they can learn more and make a purchase. As you can see, this format offers an engaging way to connect your brand and products with shoppers who are browsing on Amazon mobile and desktop shopping results. You can use video with sound or without, depending on how you want to communicate your story. This format is particularly good if you are trying to raise awareness during a peak event or trying to promote awareness of a particular product. Okay, so now the next one, I'll be playing a video. It's a 25-second video.
We are unable to hear the sound.
Oh, yeah, I think folks, I think the sound may have some issues, right? But I just wanted to show you guys an example of the video. So as like what I mentioned, right, it can be with sound or without sound. So right now the presentation is without sound. Yep. And I think there's a question on the Q&A box. Is it encouraged to advertise for wholesale products item? If so, how and any tips? Okay, folks, so before I continue on the sponsored brands with video creative, I'd like to answer this question. If you're a wholesaler or retailer or a reseller, I'll be very upfront with you. I think it is something that the sponsored brands is only for US trademark owners. So if you are a wholesaler, meaning that you are not the brand owner, then you will probably need to work with the brand owner to get you the permission to sell their product on Amazon. Okay. So let's move on to this tactic two. Okay, so let's look at a sponsored brand video campaign from a fictional advertiser, a kitchen cookware company called Green Pot. So as you can see from the video just now, you can see how the green pot or the pot is being displayed to a end customer, right? So here are some tips that I would like to recommend. Okay, focus on your video on building an emotional connection with customers and your products with inspirational and entertaining visuals. I think when it comes to emotional connection, I think, an example, a very good company with emotional connections are folks like the Disney or like Coca-Cola. Okay, when you watch their advertisement, you feel a sense of happiness. I think that is what makes an emotional connection. Okay, second will be to show a quick demonstration of your product in that 25-second or that 15-second. You want to demonstrate the unique value proposition that you have for your products to the customer. Okay, I will say that as we move along, depending on who's your customer base, the attention span is getting shorter and shorter, right? So you may want to do it quickly, and having a video like as short as 10 seconds, 15 seconds to really catch their attention, and from there you can bring them to your store and also learn more about your brand. Okay, next will be to strike a balance by highlighting your product and your brand. Okay, like what I mentioned again, your product and your brand is two different things. Okay, you can have 1,000 product or SKU, but you only have one brand story. Okay, so I would like you to think about what is your brand story when you're launching on Amazon. Okay, next will be to grab customer attention by showing images or videos of your products within the first 2 seconds of the video, including the product function, if possible within the first 5 seconds of the video, and also having your logo appearing at the beginning or end of the video to help remind customer who you are. And lastly, keep mobile viewers in mind by making sure the product is not too small throughout the video. So as mentioned, right, because they're selling to Americans, right, do you think an American will be shopping on a desktop or will be shopping on the Amazon app on their mobile phone? I would say 80% will probably be spending their time on a mobile app. So make sure, keep in mind of that, and as you create or design your video, make sure you create for both desktop and mobile viewers. Okay, let's move on. Okay, our third tactic is using another form of sponsored brands, product collection. Okay, product collection enables promotion of products and offers the opportunity to create a more rich shopping experience through the use of branded imagery. When creating a product collection campaign, you can promote multiple products from your store or a new landing page. We recommend linking your store to help shoppers discover your entire product selection and learn more about your brand, so it will be top of mind for their upcoming purchases. When adding products to your campaign, choose your best-selling product with high rating that will catch the attention of shoppers as they are browsing. Okay, I would like to pause here again. Okay, as like what I mentioned, best-selling products means it's your champion SKU. Out of the 10 or 100 SKU that you're selling, there's always one that is your best seller. So I want you to put it up and center for people to know. Okay, then use rich custom image representing your brand portfolio to help quickly showcase your products and tell your brand story to customer as they are viewing shopping results. The image you can see here is an example of a type of image you can showcase in a top of search placement. Okay, I think for Gordon's chocolate, right, this one is a good example. But if you want a really, really good live example, I think on Amazon you can go and see the Apple. I think Apple, as you all may know, their champion SKU has always been the iPhone, right? And they sell things like MacBook, iPads, the pen itself, so even the iWatch. So I would say that think of what is your champion SKU, put it front and center, and also showcase the entire suite of products that is available under your brand. Okay. Now before we get into the fourth tactic, let's talk about sponsored display for a bit. With it, you can help grow your business as you reach relevant audience both on and off Amazon, which give you an opportunity to create awareness of your brand. These self-service display ads make it easier for audience to discover your product for the first time, bringing them to your product detail pages. So for sponsored display audience campaign allows you to engage and re-engage audience who view your products similar to yours, relevant categories, and even complementary or related categories that don't include your products or on Amazon. Your display creative may appear to audience while they browse websites and apps other than Amazon, as well as placement on the Amazon homepage, product detail page, and shopping results pages. So I like to pause here for a while, right? So it is very important to note that while you're doing brand building on Amazon, you want to capture both it on and off Amazon. Okay, you want to reach out to the widest audience possible. So sponsored display is a great way to connect your brand marketing strategy to your digital advertising strategy using Amazon audience. Okay, I think in this line it may be a bit too complex. So one thing like I have been sharing with you, brand marketing strategy is about sharing your brand narrative or your brand story to the world. And what I have shared about ads, self-service product that's available to you is part of the digital advertising strategy. Okay, so as you may know, brand building is not only on digital format, it can be off digital, it can be on other ways of getting your brand name out there. But for this case, for today's webinar, what you need to know is about how we can help to drive awareness, reach new audience, and gain insights into your brand on Amazon. Okay, so lifestyle audience reflects a variety of shopping activities, browse, buy, stream that maps to a specific lifestyle interest, like foodies, sports fans, and tax and tech and yeah. So I would say that lifestyle audience, I think if you guys know about Twitch, yeah, I think Twitch is an example where it is meant for those gamers, right? So that's more lifestyle based. And interest based will be things like allowing to reach groups of prospective customer based on the product or category that they frequently browse and buy. And lastly, live events give brands the opportunity to drive awareness for relevant products based around life moments, such as traveling soon for shoppers going on vacation, or like for myself, dad to be, right? So if you're selling baby products and you know that I'm an American and I'm going to have a kid in a few days' time, you'll probably target me and find ways to get me to buy your products for baby products. Okay. But then again, if I'm a dad, why you should ask yourself, why should I buy your baby products as compared to someone else? Yeah. So like as mentioned, to build a brand awareness, pick an audience that makes sense to your brand. If multiple audience are relevant to your brand, try setting up different campaign, one for each audience. So for example, right, if you're selling baby products and you want to target the daddies or you want to target the mummies, I would say the products that you showcase to me as a dad and to my wife is totally different, right? I mean, to the dads, if you can find something that is, maybe military like baby carrier, I'll probably convert immediately. As compared to a mommy, I think the mommy is looking at more like, is it more practical on some end on maybe on a feet or something. So I will say that like it is really depending on who you want to target and how you want to do it. So after talking about reviewing the tactic, now let's talk about measuring the success of your campaigns. Okay, so here comes brand matrix. So brand matrix allows brands to measure the impact of their upper and mid funnel efforts on Amazon using advertising and non-advertising insights to help drive business success. Okay, essentially, brand matrix offers a holistic view of your brand success within a specific subcategory. This includes count of customers and customer engagement at each stage of the funnel, along with the expected long-term value of these shopper states to your brand. This helps you evaluate campaign that doesn't focus on immediate purchase and understand the value of helping move shoppers closer to purchase and into loyalty. So in short, I think after you understand what features available to you for you to adopt, you really need to look at the data that is available to you as a brand owner. Like what I have mentioned, it is not about immediate conversion. It is about understanding who are you engaging, how much are they engaging to your product, and really, it's helping them to move one step closer to making a conversion or a purchase and to be a loyal customer or a champion for your customer. So with brain matrix, you can measure the long-term value of intent and engagement before and after a purchase, evaluate your success relative to other brands at each stage of the purchase journey. Okay, this point is the most important one. You can actually evaluate your success based on other brands, meaning that you can see what other brands, how are they performing. I think this is a very powerful tool and a very powerful data set to actually, understand where are you standing among the crowd. And lastly, you can also see what is moving the needle so you can optimize your marketing efforts on Amazon and help drive growth. So let's take a look at the key metrics to review for measuring awareness. Okay, so the awareness percentile indicates how your brand is performing in terms of awareness compared to your peers. If your brand is in the high percentile, let's say the 90th percentile, it means you're performing better than 90% of the seller population within your category. Okay. Next will be detail page view only. This is the number of customers that have viewed your product detail page. Next will be you're able to see the engaged shopper rate, which is the percentage rate of shoppers in the selected categories that your brand has driven an engagement with or purchase from in the selected time frame divided by the total shoppers with more than one detail page view in the selected categories. Okay, folks, I think this may be too technical for you, but in short, it is really to understand how an engagement from a shopper is like for you to understand your brand engagement. Okay. Next will be shoppers is also another matrix that you will see, which is the total shoppers in the selected category over a selected time frame. These shoppers are organized into each segment by their most recent engagement. And engagement includes shoppers viewing your product detail page, researching your brand, and viewing detail page, adding to the cart or purchasing. And lastly, return on engagement is the average value to your brand based on the shopper engagement in the prior 12 months. Okay, historical data is used to calculate the total sales that shoppers in this segment generate for your brand in the selected categories over 12 months divided by the total number of shoppers who started in that segment. You can use these values as a guide for the potential revenue each type of shopper engagement yields for your brand. So folks, I think going through this 5 matrix, right? I think the most important of them all will be to understand the engaged shopper rate and the return on engagement. I think these are the two most important matrix, because these two will actually really tell you how engaged shoppers are from a numbers perspective, and to also understand how your investment on ads is having on a impact on your conversion and your your brand narrative. Okay, I'll pause here for a while and let me check the Q&A box. Okay, so there are a few questions. If I just applied for a trademark, can I run video ads? Yes, you can. If you have a trademark, you have a US trademark, and you registered on US the Amazon brand registry, you can run the video ads. Okay, the next question is, if I'm a brand owner based in Singapore and looking to launch my product in Amazon US, do you recommend launching my product and store in US myself, or link up with an affiliate who already has a US store? If so, any advice on how to find these affiliates? Okay. I think this question I will highly recommend you to do it yourself. Why? It's because you want the data to be with you, not with a third party or a affiliate. If you outsource it to someone else, they may be able to do it for you. I think from a productivity perspective, you can do more, right? But then again, that's a short-term play. I think to answer your question, like what I say, when it comes to brand building, it is a long-term play, and you want to be able to have access to the data for your team or yourself to actually crunch the data and to make sense of that data. So I will actually highly encourage you to, you do it yourself. I will touch on affiliate afterwards, after my presentation. So let's move on to the next part of this webinar. Okay, so planning your awareness strategy. Let's recap. As we talk about your store and post are the foundation of your brand awareness strategy, make sure you're using this to bring your brand and products to life. Okay. Next, we recommend trying these 4 tactics using sponsored brands and sponsored display. Take a look at this checklist here. How many of these campaigns are you running? Are there any you want to set up? And as mentioned, these slides are available for download. You can keep everything, including this checklist, for reference as you are building out your brand awareness strategy. So I have come to the end of the presentation. Okay, we still have quite a few. We still have some time to answer your questions. And don't worry, folks. Remember, like what I say, after this webinar, there will be an email sent and there'll be a recording for this. Okay. And by the way, I'm based in Singapore. So if you have any questions about ads, you can always reach out to me directly. But let's go to the Q&A box. Folks, let's now look at the Q&A box. Let me continue to answer them live on this webinar. Okay. So let's move on. The affiliate piece I will talk about later. Let me answer a few more questions. In one sponsored display campaign, would you add all audience lifestyle interests based live events? Okay, this is a very good question, right? So I think I have shared the difference between lifestyle, interest, and live event. And I will say, to be very honest with you, to answer this question, it really based on how much budget you have. So Talia, I think to answer your question, if you have a lot of budget, of course, you can target lifestyle, interest-based, and live event. But if you think in that way, right, if you want to throw your net wide out and you try to touch everyone, you know, is that the right strategy? Okay. What I have shared to you are tactics, lifestyle, interest. These are all tactics. So Taylor, I want everyone who's on this line to think of the overarching strategy. You do not want to, to be too zoomed into the different features that's available. Because one of the most common mistake that sellers make is that they zoom into the feature itself, thinking that if I spend this X amount of money, I will get Y number of conversion. Okay, this is the wrong way of doing ads. Okay, ads at the end of the day is just a lever to help you in your brand building or your brand story. Okay, at the end of the day, brand building make up of paid and unpaid or organic. Okay, so to answer your question, back to this is, if you have budget, you can do so for all three. But I would like to say that if you are looking at, okay, for example, imagine you're an owner of Nike or Apple, okay? Do you really think they need to paid advertising? Or do you think their brand building is based on something more organic? Think of Disney, think of Coca-Cola, think of Nike. What do they stand for? Do you really think that I need to do paid to get the word out or to get a message out? What is that emotional connection that you have between your brand and your, seller, your customers? Okay, so if you are totally new to this, like what I mentioned, this can be very overwhelming. I totally agree with you guys. It can be very overwhelming if you are totally new to ads. So step by step is to understand what are the tactics or product that's available to you. Afterwards, look at your budget. How much are you willing to spend? Then afterward, come up with a digital advertising strategy around ads. Okay. Then afterwards, based on what events are you going to, use it for? As you may know, Prime Day is coming up. Prime Day 2022 is coming up. So, who is your target audience? How much are you willing to spend? And what's the time duration? All these have to come into factor. So, and I will say that, map it out. And afterwards, if you have questions, you can always follow up with us. Okay. Uh, okay, the next question is, what's your brand and what are you selling, Richard? Okay, I think this is a question for for another seller. So, can you review what products or product categories you are in? Shermin, I don't really understand your question. So you're asking you're asking me what product or product category you are in, or you're asking if as a seller you can review your product or category that you're in. Okay. Yep. So you can try to clarify on that. Okay. Next one will be how to design my own store with banners and subtitles. Okay. I think when it comes to store, right, Amazon store, right, the banners and subtitles, or I will call it the tiles lah. Okay, banners and tiles are actually, it can be done by yourself. If you are really good with things like Canva or Adobe, you can actually do it by yourself, right? But if you can't do so, you can always use a third party on Fiverr or Upworks to get it done. And I would say that as a seller, like what I mentioned, you have to deal with trademark, logistics. You won't have time to design. So I would say I would advise you to outsource your design work to someone else, a freelancer, to do so for you. And to be very honest, if you Google online, you will probably find people who are specializing in helping you to build Amazon stores. So it's not very hard to find freelancers to do it for you. Okay. Okay. Next question will be from Charmaine. How much is the budget you spend per day for your product? Okay, so Charmaine, I will answer. I'll be very upfront with you. Okay, when it comes to budgeting of your ads, okay, first and foremost, you need to know what category you are in. Okay, why? Because if you are selling things like electronics, who is your competitor? Your competitor will be people like Apple, people like Sony, very big brands, right? So from that angle, do you think your budget will be much greater if you're selling in a very competitive category? So first and foremost, to really dive deep into this, how much budget, you need to know which category you are in. Okay. Once you know which category you are in, then I will say each category have a different budget when it comes to ads. Okay. But in general, the golden rule is around a minimum of around $20 USD. Anything below that don't really make any sense. Okay, so if you are totally new, Charmaine, I will actually advise you to give it a try first. A/B testing, try it for 2 weeks or a month, then you will pivot and iterate this or iterate your strategy around ads. Okay, next, from Taylor again. How many keywords or product targeting per campaign do you recommend for both sponsored brands and sponsored display? Okay. Uh okay, I think in terms of keywords, right? Taylor, I think it really depends. Are you doing it yourself or you're doing it through a automation tool lah? But if you're doing it yourself, from a human eye, I would say, take your top 10 keywords first. There isn't a point to take 100 over keywords. You cannot optimize 100 over keywords because if you are doing it yourself, you have to keep looking at the data and keep removing the keywords that's not being optimized, that's not performing. You have to change. I don't know how much time you have to do so. So it really depends on you're doing it by yourself or you're outsourcing it. Okay. As for product targeting per campaign, like I say, start small first. Same thing, start small. Uh, I would say that there isn't a need to actually go big at first go, at your first try. Okay, it really depends on what's your budget. Okay, if you have the budget, then you can try both sponsored brands and sponsored display. But when it comes to ads, everything is very dynamic. Like what I mentioned, whatever you're doing, your competitors are also doing. Okay, so it is a very dynamic thing to do, right? So as you are doing, for example, you're testing brands, another competitor of yours will also do so. So from a budgeting perspective, because I'm a seller myself, I don't want you to waste too much money, right? You want it to be, what you need to know what is your end goal, right? And once you know your end goal, be it conversion or brand awareness, then from there you work backwards and see how many keywords or product targeting you would like to do. Okay, but try as my advice to everyone here on the line: start small, then after that you scale up. And if you realize as you scale up your ads campaigns, right, you realize you'll get very complex and you will need some form of help. Okay. Next will be if I'm authorized by the trademark owner to sell in Amazon, can I register it on brand registry? Okay, I think this question, if you're authorized by the brand owner to sell in Amazon, uh, you cannot register it on brand registry because the trademark is the brand owners. It belongs to the brand owner. You cannot register on brand registry based on the trademark that is owned by the brand owner, because the Amazon will actually check in with the trademark office on who is owning it. So if you are an authorized reseller or authorized retailer, you need the trademark owner to register on Amazon brand registry by themselves. Then they will give you permission to set up a store on their behalf. Okay, so you cannot do so on your own. You will get blocked. Yeah. Another question from Tanya: how do we outsource the advertising? This is a very good question. Okay, I think if you guys know about our other advertising that is very famous, the other two big players, uh, people are normally using digital advertising firms. Other one is that you can find them on Upworks or Fiverr. You can get a freelancer to help you start a campaign. There are many actually freelancers out there that can help you do so. There's also another thing in Singapore called Skilled Insight. This Skilled Insight is actually started by a group of Singaporeans who are very passionate about selling on Amazon. They actually created a SaaS platform called Skilled Insights, where they can actually help to do your advertising in an automated manner, so you don't need to keep optimizing it by yourself. Okay, so next question. So again, so to confirm, I asked the brand owner to register the brand, then authorize us to set up and manage their store and run brand campaign. Is that right? Yes. So for example, if you are selling, if you're authorized to sell Apple, you have to write to Apple. Apple will have to go and register an account on Amazon brand registry. Then they'll give you the authority to sell their products on your Amazon store. So you're right. Okay, next question: how to optimize my brand new store which only has one product, starting small? What is the optimal way to portray my store with limited products? Norman, this is a very good question. I think if you are starting off with your hero asin, or starting small, right? You're starting small, and you have one brand, right? I would say that like what I mentioned, store on Amazon is about really sharing your brand story. And you may not have a suite of products to capture that, because a brand story represents something more than a single SKU. And I will say that if you have only one SKU, I don't know, guys. I don't know if you guys know about this shaver for men. Or if you go if you go online, there are people are selling shaver. They're just sharing just men shaver, right? Just one product. And I think last time it was bought over by Unilever. I think I can't remember what's the company called, but they only sell like one SKU. And on that point, what I want to share is that they really focus on the brand story, right? What it means to be, related to a brand selling men shavers. So if you have only one SKU, it's okay. It's okay. I think it's totally fine. But what you want to build on is the story. And I think, Norman, to answer your question, uh, focus on the story first. As you build on that, then use video to, you know display that narrative, then slowly build on that. You will normally start off with one SKU, then you will move on to 3, 5, then 10. So it is really about storytelling, and it's not only on Amazon, it's also off Amazon too. Okay. Okay, next question will be, where can I edit my store? From which tab can I add banners and subtitles? Okay, I think this question is uh the store is only accessible if you have a Amazon brand registered account, meaning that you have registered and you have a US trademark. So I can't really pronounce your name, Yuku. So you really need to see if you have access. If you do have access, then when you go into the store tab, you can actually see it's like so-called, you can just click and edit accordingly. So you can just upload your banners and wordings. It's actually quite user friendly. So I'm not too sure the reason you're asking this question. I don't know if you have access to store, because normally if you have access to store, it's actually quite user friendly. Okay, next question will be, how do you spell from Rachel, right? Skill insight. Okay. Let me put it out to everyone. Then at least everyone knows what I'm talking about. Okay, folks, so if you all go to the question and answer and to Rachel's question, it's called Skilled Insights. You can just Google them and you can find them. They're a Singapore company. Okay, let's move on. There's still a lot of questions to go, and I've only 4 more minutes. Yeah, so Tanya and Rachel, I hope I answered that question. So is Skill Insights. So go and check them out. Okay, next question from Shermaine again. Can we build the brand story around our brand in Singapore, even though we are only have one ASIN on Amazon? Is it relevant to USA audience? Okay, wow, Shermaine, I think you're asking a question that, yeah, it feels like a trick question to me. So I would say that a Singapore brand, if you're sharing a Singapore brand, right? For example, Shermaine, take for example, I'm selling Singapore most famous bak kwa, okay, beef jerky, right, in the English name. And because you're selling on Amazon.com, if you ask me, is bak kwa a Singapore story, the brand story relevant to American? I don't think so lah. And I will be very honest with you. If you use the word bak kwa as the keyword on Amazon.com, is it relevant to an American shopper? Okay, I think one of the most important thing, folks, is that you need to know that you're selling to Americans. You're not selling to Asians. That is one of the biggest misconception when it comes to selling on Amazon on the US marketplace. So to answer your question, Shermaine, the brand story must be relatable to the American audience, not a Singapore audience. And I will be very honest with you, everyone on the line. If you're based in Southeast Asia, the biggest gap is not the quality of the product that we can produce in Southeast Asia. I've been with Amazon for many years. I have seen many high quality products that can be, it can be sold globally. What is missing in Southeast Asia is the brand story appealing to Americans and the Europeans. That is the biggest gap in Southeast Asia. We do not know how to share the story that we have that is unique to Southeast Asia to an international audience. That will be the biggest gap. Yeah. So I hope I answer that question. Okay. Next will be, how many times a week would you look at sponsored brands and display to optimize them? I think, Talia, I think to answer your question again, like what I mentioned, there's many factors to it. First and foremost, as a seller, you look at your budget. I will always tell people, as a seller myself, look at your budget. If you have the budget to, spend on ads, then do so. I will say if you have the time, okay, you should look at your ads campaign on a daily basis. Okay, why? Is because like what I mentioned, every day one of your competitors or someone in your categories is doing something on sponsored ads or sponsored brands or whatever, and you want to watch very closely how are you spending your every single cent on ads. Because what many people will come back to me is that, Abel, I've been spending so much money, I get a lot of clicks, but I don't get any conversion. So at the end of the day, as an e-commerce seller, what do you want? Are you intending to build a brand awareness, which is something not so concrete, is a long-term play, or you're looking at conversion, which is purchase, which will affect your P&L every month, right? How many conversion are you getting every month? So I think it really depends on that. And Talia, I think to answer your question, if we are talking about this webinar is about brand building, so it's a long-term play. So with that in mind, optimizing it is a constant basis. It can be daily, it can be weekly, it can be monthly, but most importantly is to find a way that is sustainable. It can't be done by yourself in a long-term perspective. If you are running a real business, this has to be done in an automatic fashion, or you get someone to do it for you. So I hope I answer that question right now. So we have come to 3 p.m. Any last question on the ground? Anyone? Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, I think all is good. Any other questions? I think people are starting to drop off. So I think I'd like to thank everyone to be on this call with me. Like what I mentioned, I'm going to be a dad in a few days' time. So if you have any questions, please follow up with us. I think my colleagues and myself will respond to you. And my last note to you is that Amazon Ads is going to be big in the next few years. And I hope that you guys can learn the basics, master it, and I hope that this will help you, make your business greater and bigger too. Because at the end of the day, what we all want is that we want your business to be successful. So I thank everyone for your time today, and have a great weekend ahead, folks. See you. Bye bye.